We are all set to go, Mr. Casso, whenever you're ready.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We will convene the agenda for Thursday, April 22nd, and consider the matter that is scheduled for 1:30. And that is case numbers PL-SPR 19-10, PL-CUP 19-2, and PL-DR 19-88, also PL-ALP 20-6 for the Scansea mini storage project that proposes to develop a public mini storage complex that would be located on I believe it's Scansea Drive, or 88th Street, which is at the southwest corner of 89th Street and Scansea Avenue within the city of Gig Harbor. My name is Steve Casso. I'm the City of Gig Harbor Hearings Examiner. I am an attorney in the private practice of law with the firm of McCarthy & Casso that is located at 902 South 10th in Tacoma. So if anyone knows of a reason why I should not hear the matter, please indicate. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and proceed. The way we'll proceed then this afternoon is we'll first hear a presentation of the Community Development Department staff report by Kim Mahoney. Following that, we will hear testimony from the applicant and those that wish to speak in favor of the request, and then testimony from anyone else who logs into the meeting that might want to speak. Following conclusion of the hearing this afternoon, I will take the matter under advisement and will issue a written decision. That decision will be transmitted to the city as well as to the owner and the owner's representative as shown on the front page of the staff report. And if you need a decision mailed elsewhere, just let staff know prior to the conclusion of the hearing. When it is your turn to testify, I'll need to swear you in as a witness, and then you can go ahead and proceed with your testimony by stating your name and address and then spelling your last name so that we have it correct for the record. So at this time then, Ms. Mahoney, do you want to raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you shall give in the case now in hearing shall be the truth?
I affirm.
Thank you. Go right ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Examiner. But before I dive in, I just wanted to say again, staff really appreciates your working with us to be able to schedule this hearing. I know that it is not normal to schedule the fourth Thursday of the month, but we really appreciate it to be able to serve our customers well this afternoon. As you indicated, we're here for your consideration decision on the Scansea mini storage proposal located at 5116 89th Street in Gig Harbor. The applicant proposes to develop a public mini storage complex on a 3-story structure of approximately 78,375 square feet. Of this space, 56,040 square feet will be used to serve the building's 509 storage units. The applicant's requesting a conditional use permit to allow the site's proposed mini storage use. The request is encompassed in applications for site plan review, conditional use permit, design review, and alternative landscape plan. This proposal is also associated with permit file number PL-SEPA-19-0014, for which staff issued a mitigated determination of non-significance, or MDNS, on March 25th, 2021. The MDNS and its reference materials have been included with the staff report as Exhibit M. Staff received 2 comments in response to the noticed MDNS, one from the Department of Ecology and one from the Squaxin Island Tribe of Indians. Both of these comments have been included as Exhibit F to the staff report, and their content has been included as recommended conditions of approval in Section 10 of the staff report. The Scansea mini storage complex is proposed to be developed on a 2.18 acre vacant parcel in the city's employment district zoning designation. The site nominally slopes toward the southwest and is predominantly vegetated with scrub shrub, although 6 significant trees have been identified on the site by a qualified arborist. Each of these trees is proposed to be removed as an element of the applicant's alternative design review permit and its alternative landscape plan. Documentation related to the removal of these trees is included as Exhibit K to my staff report, which includes a replanting plan indicating a superiorly landscaped site compared to that which would be achieved through strict adherence to the Gig Harbor Municipal Code. The site is located within regulated proximity of a Category 4 wetlands buffer. The wetland is entirely located on the parcel immediately south of the subject site, but its 50-foot buffer encroaches over the shared property line. The applicant has prepared a wetland buffer establishment program, which has been reviewed by the city's third-party environmental consultant, Grady Associates. The MDNS references the buffer establishment program and Grady's review of the proposed wetland mitigation. Combined with the mitigation measures imposed by the MDNS, staff finds that the proposed development sufficiently mitigates for potential impacts to the functions of the offsite wetland buffer. The city's land use matrix is set forth in Gig Harbor Municipal Code 17.14.020 and identifies a mini storage land use as conditionally permitted in the site's ED zoning designation, subject to the CUP review criteria set forth in Gig Harbor Municipal Code 17.64.040. Staff has analyzed the proposed mini storage complex against these criteria on pages 7 through 9 of the staff report, and has otherwise analyzed the proposal against all relevant municipal code provisions in section 8 of the staff report. Having thoroughly analyzed this proposal, staff recommends the hearing examiner approve the requested permits and impose the conditions of approval set forth in section 10 of the staff report. Staff also requests the examiner impose the additional condition of approval transmitted to the examiner's office via email on April 21st, 2021. Mr. Examiner, did you receive that email?
Yes, I did. Thank you.
Okay. I'll just look to read into the record the additional condition of approval that was outlined in that memorandum. The additional condition reads, the applicant shall adhere to the conditions of approval described in section 8.b of the staff report. And that additional condition of approval recommended by staff intends on capturing the conditions recommended by the city's Public Works Department as described on page 12 of the staff report. If you would consider also incorporating the addendum sent on the 21st of April as Exhibit N to the staff report as an element of this project's record, Mr. Examiner. This project and its hearing were properly noticed to the public. Exhibit J includes the only comment provided by the public in response to this project's noticing, which was submitted by the Department of Ecology, and staff has captured those comments by Ecology in its recommended conditions. This concludes staff's brief of the Scansy mini storage proposal, and I'm happy to address any questions that you might have.
I noticed in the staff report where you referred to the, you wanted me to incorporate the section 8B or the portions of section 8B that covered, Public Works conditions of approval. And I was just wondering, would it be equally as well just to, instead of having to refer back to the staff report, to just include those conditions or those statements in the staff report as conditions?
Absolutely, Mr. Examiner, that'd be perfectly fine.
Okay, then we have everything in one document. That's why I was just thinking might be a little more convenient to do it that way.
I agree with you.
Okay, and I'll mark your addendum as Exhibit N. The other question I had is concerning the design review, or I guess for the architecture, the notice of recommendation from the City of Gig Harbor Design Review Board, which is Exhibit E. And on page 2 of 3 of that, they said that at the DRB meeting, the applicant and members of the board discussed revisions to the shifts in the western facade, which are more in keeping with the criteria for issuing a recommendation. And then they said the board introduced the idea of removing the roof line's vertical shift and instead incorporating a 2-foot horizontal shift, and then some other language thereafter. But I don't see anywhere in the board's recommendation whether or not that proposal by the board was acceptable to the applicant. And so I'm just wondering, do you know if the applicant was acceptable to that proposal by the board members?
Yes, I can speak to that, Mr. Examiner. That was a recommendation that was made at the DRB, and yes, Christian Harkson, who's with us here today, was in attendance at that meeting, and we were able to work that design into the redesign of the proposal. So that 2-foot shift has been incorporated.
Okay, all right. So there was no problem then with the DRB's recommendation as far as the applicant was concerned, is your understanding anyway?
No, in fact, it was welcomed because it was a way to circumvent a need to take that element of the design back to the DRB for further consideration.
Okay. All right. That's all the questions I have then. Thank you. We'll now hear testimony from the applicant and those that wish to speak in favor of the request. And so who's going to be speaking then for the applicant? Okay, you want to raise your right? Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right. So whoever, just raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you shall give in the case now in hearing shall be the truth?
I do.
Thank you. And if you could just state your name and spell your last name for me and your address, please.
Christian Harkson, Harkson. My address is 8725 Randall Drive, Northwest, Gig Harbor, 98332.
Okay. All right, sir, go ahead and proceed.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a whole lot to say, just we're excited about this project. I know that the community really is kind of funny when talking through, through different professionals, from architects to engineers. Everyone popped in, oh, you guys are building a mini storage. I'll be a client. I need space. So it seems like it's something that the community of Gig Harbor needs. A lot of people are having to go across the bridge and outside of the city to fill their needs of mini storage. So yeah, we're excited to potentially get going on this project. And I don't know if you have anything to say, but I don't know if you have to rate. Yeah.
Do I have to swear in? I've got a comment is all.
Yeah. Okay. Why don't you go ahead and raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you shall give in the case now in hearing shall be the truth?
It is.
Okay. And then could you state your name again for me or your name and spell your last name, please?
Sure. Randy Chopp, CHOPP.
Go ahead, Mr. Chopp.
You only had one question, and that was to Kim. The recommendation for staff, I guess from the Public Works 8, we were discussing the 8. What is the
most recent? The
most recent, yeah. That you wanted to have included. Could you just give me a background on what that looks like? Because I don't know that we have. Maybe it's a comment on the plans already, but I'm
it was something that just popped up right when we were jumping into the Zoom call. So I think you sent it to me prior, but I just wasn't in my email. So
sure, no problem. Yeah, and it's not anything that's new information. It was all markups from the Public Works Department during the last review of the proposal. But if you'd like to, I can read to you what those conditions are. There's 3 of them. Would that help you?
That would be awesome. Yes.
Okay.
Please.
Well, wait. Do you have a copy of the staff report with you?
Are you asking me?
Yes. Yeah. Do you have a copy of the staff report?
Where does pull that up?
It's on page 12, I believe.
Okay.
And isn't that under operations and engineering? Isn't that what you're referring to there, Ms. Mahoney?
Yes, Mr. Examiner.
Okay. It's just loading the PDF. Just one moment here. Hold on, technical issues here. Let's try it again.
If you can't get it up, Ms. Mahoney can read it for you, but I thought it might be better if you just read it there. So if you had any question about it.
Is it point B?
Yeah, EDA. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. No, I don't see anything objectionable about that at all. So I'm sure we worked through that earlier. I just wasn't sure if that was a new item or not. It sounds like it was, and it was an existing one. Okay. That's all I had.
Okay, so you've looked at those 3 conditions then, and I assume that you've had an opportunity to review the other 8 conditions that are in the staff report. And do you have any questions or concerns about any of those conditions?
No, we're prepared to meet all that criteria and move forward.
And is your understanding the same as Ms. Mahoney's about the DRB's recommendation? I mean, you're satisfied with that?
Yeah, I think that that's what we were trying to, I guess, recommend, is that we thought that was a better alternative. And when they came up with that and agreed, or we all agreed, then yeah, we definitely endorse that.
Okay. All right. Do you have anything further you'd like to present?
I don't. I think staff's done a good job of presenting everything. And I think I think we treaded through all those waters already. So hopefully we're going to get on high ground now.
Okay. Ms. Mahoney, do you have anything further?
I'll just provide just a small bit more clarity on the item of the shift to the building's design. What had actually come forward from the applicant to that meeting was an attempt to try and make it a little bit more in line with what the design manual required. I think it was a full 5-foot shift, and the DRB said, you know, it doesn't look right. You know, why don't we consider it? You know, it almost seems like it would be better if you didn't try so hard. You know, almost bring it up a couple of feet. And so it wasn't a very, you know, significant change. And it almost seemed to kind of, you know, lessen or help the applicant lessen the impact against them. Just make it a little easier, and in the opinion of the design review board, you know, more superior. So I guess that's just my way of just kind of rounding out that conversation.
Okay. All right. Well, I will go ahead then and take the matter under advisement, and we'll proceed to issue a written decision. And are the addresses there for Mr. Chop and Mr. Harkson the place where you want us to send the decision?
Yeah, the 8725, just like our office.
Right. Okay. Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you very much for participating and attending this afternoon. And we are now adjourned.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Examiner.